So this week we saw all the teams take the field for the first time in a year, and the Yankees had a rough start. They've had a rocky beginning here. So Aaron Judge missed Wednesday and Friday's games due to soreness on his left side. And so in 2019, Judge sat out for 2 months due to these oblique strains, which would be on his left and right sides. And so while he did play in today's game, this is a concerning start for Judge. And so, Ryan, I want to know, are you worried about how this is going to affect him in the long term? It's only the first couple games and he already sat out. So how do you see this going for him throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, for the longest time, I was a huge defender, and he's not injury prone. I thought the 2018 injury was a fluke. He got hit by a pitch, and then obliques. I was like, all right, that's one thing. Last year, and you can't really make excuses anymore. Honestly, it is what it is. He's a big guy. He's an amazing fielder and everything. So he puts his body on the line. Stuff's gonna happen, and I'm not gonna say that I'm lackadaisical. I am a little concerned here. People are speculating, and I don't want to speculate, but that this sore could be due to the vaccine. We've seen other Yankees. Gio Urshela got put on the COVID list for the vaccine. So if it's that, then I'm probably not concerned, but there's no way to know. Obviously, he's not saying anything, and there's no reason to, speculate here. And it's definitely something that's concerning because Aaron Judge is so important to this lineup, especially with Luke Voigt out, who really kind of carried the load for most of the year last year. You need Judge in the lineup and in the field too, because he's so good in right field. He's such a presence in the lineup. And, you're going to get your bangs along the way. And I know that's in the new baseball. You're not playing 162 games. You're sitting out to get healthy. But this clearly is something to be concerned about because, he had the off day and he had the two kind of, sit out games sandwiched in between the off day. So hopefully that gets him right. Hopefully he's at 100% because the Yankees do need him. You talked about, the slow start. I'm not that concerned with that. Obviously he's out, Voigt's out. I think they'll ride the ship, but I am keeping an eye on Judge, see how he looks in the field, see if he looks comfortable at the plate because this team really needs him to be healthy.
Yeah, I think you have to be concerned with Aaron Judge. Before there's even soreness, you have to be concerned because this is what's happened each of the last 4 seasons. He did just strike out in the first inning, but he's now playing the field, so he didn't get pulled that early. The little victories. But it comes off the heels of the worst game of the season so far for the Yankees. Friday night, they lose 10-5 to Tampa. Kluber was pretty pathetic and not a good game all around. But you have to be concerned. You have to be concerned with everybody on this team. You have to be concerned with Glaber's defense because we've seen in the past that has not been good at shortstop. You have to be concerned about Sanchez's strikeouts because he strikes out all the time. We are returning the same core for the 4th year, 5th year in a row. So when something happens, right, that meets the narratives of previous seasons, it's okay to, what others might say, overreact early in the season because it's not early because we have 4 years of history that Aaron Judge gets hurt every single year and he misses time every single year. So I am concerned. I have to be.
Yeah, I think that especially he is injury prone. Whatever people want to say about it, he clearly is injury prone. And so I think there's a level of caution that Boone is going to approach with him really about when he wants to push him versus when he doesn't. And somebody who is injury prone is not going to be challenged all that often in games when he could. If he's feeling a little something, they're going to sit him out of an abundance of caution. And so, I think to me, it's kind of soreness is sort of weird. It seems really vague to me. I'm sure that all baseball players, all athletes are sore at parts of their life. But I think that the fact that Boone sat him for 2 games is very telling that even if Judge has something kind of minor, something like being sore, they are going to take that and they are going to take that with so much caution and that they are not going to play him and they'd rather bench him than hurt him further. And so I think that that's something that can be concerned about because that could be a trend that can continue all season long. When something minor is wrong with Judge, Boone will sit him because he doesn't want him to be hurt. And like you said, I think that it is concerning just as a whole for the entire team. Gleyber Torres has not been playing well. His error cost them a game. And so I think that it's concerning for the team as a whole, as is also concerning for Judge as a player, because like you said, Chris, we've seen this core for 4 years, maybe 5, and they're probably not all going to be here next year. I imagine that the Yankees are going to make some changes coming up in the future if this doesn't work out. And already to start off with Judge missing 2 games because he was sore, I think that that is something that speaks volumes for how the rest of the season will go.
I do think it's big that he did play today because the Trop has been kind of a nightmare and the turf in general. I know that Boone has tried to keep him off the turf. I think he's got injured on the turf before. So it is encouraging to see him in right field. You know, he looked good in practice and everything. And so I do think if this was from COVID or whatever, this vaccine, then I'm not like that concerned about the immediate thing. But when I look at this team as a whole, there are other concerns. It's not just Aaron Judge's health. As you mentioned, Gleyber Torres at shortstop is becoming an issue. For years, he was a second baseman. Obviously, they brought DJ in, and he was a shortstop who'll catch what's hit to you, and he's not going to do anything crazy in the field. And it's regressed this year. And now he's not catching what's in front of him. He talked about that big error against the Orioles in extra innings the other day. That really hurt. So they need to right that ship. And overall, the situational hitting has not been there with his team. The relievers and the pitching staff was really good until that kind of, retool game against Tampa where they gave up 10 runs. I think they had a sub-2 ERA going into that game. And the Yankees have been slow starters in the past. It's not like, they always start red hot. They started 6-7 in 2018, 5-8 in 2019. So I'm not one to flip out over, it's an 162 game season. I'm not going to flip out over a few plays, a few things here, but I just need this team healthy because the next man up was 2019. It was a magical run. Anyone who came in was hitting. And after that, I got tired of the injuries. Obviously, I never want to see anyone get hurt, but I don't want any more next man up with these Yankees. I want the man up who should be up because it really is at a certain point, the depth runs out and you're throwing out guys that you can't be throwing out. And, the Yankees, they revamped the entire medical staff going to 2020. That was a COVID year, a 60-game season, ton of weird things here. They did get hurt a ton, but, that year was just a really weird year. This is a full 162-game season. So you need all hands on deck because, as you guys mentioned, this core has been together for 4 or 5 years. And I feel like after 2017, if you asked me in 2021, would the Yankees have a title or at least a World Series appearance, I'd put all my money in the table saying yes because of how promising they've looked. And obviously,
one game away.
Yeah, one game away.
Game away.
And then another, 2 games away in 2019. And I'm not going to talk about the Astros situation because the Yankees really should have got to a World Series with this core. And this year is a huge year. The salary, it keeps climbing because they had this young core. Remember the baby bombers? They're not babies anymore. They're getting older. Judge is almost at 30. These guys are going to be free agents soon. They have to start paying up real money. So, things have to be done with this Yankees team. I am not as optimistic as I've been in the past just because of how these seasons have unfolded. But I do think they can ride the ship. They just need everyone healthy, especially Aaron Judge.
You mentioned a couple things there, Ryan. First of all, the turf at Tropicana. You can stick guys to the turf until the ALDS is being played there. Then what?
Yep.
That's all. And the other thing you mentioned was slow starts to 28. Well, Kayla, you're like, come on. Baseball field.
That's all.
It's not hard. Anyways, you mentioned the slow starts of 2018, 2019. That's fine. They ended up riding the ship. They get the wild card in 2018. They win the division in 2019. But they still had the same issues, and they still did win the World Series. So when it looks like you're just replaying the same freaking thing over and over again, God, it's infuriating. It's like I don't know. I'm not in love with Aaron Boone. I'll just put that out there because the situational hitting, the fielding, it's been a complete disaster this year. It's been a disaster. So 3-4. I'm already done, but
already just begun, and Chris is over the Yankee season. He doesn't want to see it anymore. He's tired of this.